Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus calls for creating safe zone guaranteed by the UN for displaced people in Rakhine. International Crimes Tribunal reconstituted with Justice Ghulam Murtaza Majumdar as its chairman. People involved with market syndicate will be brought to justice soon, says Finance and Commerce Advisor. Four Israeli soldiers killed, 67 others injured in drone attacks by Hezbollah. Darren Esimoglu, Simon Johnson and James A. Robinson win Nobel Prize in Economics. And players' draft completed for the 11th edition of BPL, which will kick off on December 27. Assalamu alaikum, this is Saba Saktir Arshi welcoming you to News at 10. You have just heard the highlights, now on to the details. Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus called for creating a safe zone guaranteed by the UN for the displaced people in Rakhine and finding ways to support them. He made the call when the Special Rapporteur of the UN on the situation of human rights in Myanmar, Thomas Andrews, called on Chief Advisor at his Tejgaon office in the capital today. The Special Rapporteur appreciated the Chief Advisor for his 3-point proposals on the Rohingya crisis, which were floated on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly meeting in New York last month. He said the violence in Rakhine State has created an enormous crisis in the state, and humanitarian aid is urgently needed for the displaced and starving people, including that of Rohingyas. The Special Rapporteur said at least 3.1 million people have been displaced in Myanmar, including hundreds of thousands in Rakhine State, where insurgent groups have been fighting against the Myanmar military for years. He noted that in recent weeks, some 30,000 Rohingyas have fled their homes in Rakhine and entered Bangladesh, which is already hosting more than 1 million Rohingya people in camps in the country's southeastern Cox's Bazar border district. The Chief Advisor suggested talks with the international community, including ASEAN, over the violence and displaced people in Rakhine. He sought support from the Special Rapporteur to expedite this resettlement of thousands of Rohingya refugees to a third country. Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus sought more Turkish investment in Bangladesh, saying Dhaka is now ready for business and both nations should explore full potentials in their relationship. He said this while Turkish ambassador to Bangladesh Ramesh Shen paid a courtesy call on the Chief Advisor at his Tejgaon office in Dhaka today. They discussed ways to deepen trade, economic and defense cooperation between the two countries, the Rohingya crisis, and more exchanges of students between the two Muslim-majority nations. Professor Muhammad Yunus appreciated the Turkish humanitarian response to recent Bangladesh floods, its continued assistance to the Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh's southeast, and a visit by a Turkish official delegation to enhance trade and business ties between the two nations. He also extended an invitation to the Turkish President and the First Lady to visit Bangladesh at an opportune time. The envoy thanked Bangladesh for expressing solidarity with the earthquake victims of Turkey last year and sending some 10,000 tents for them. He conveyed Ankara's invitation to Bangladesh to attend the upcoming World Halal Summit and a ministerial-level meeting in Istanbul. He said a Turkish official delegation is now visiting Bangladesh in an effort to explore new business and trade opportunities and help reform initiatives of the interim government. Turkey wants to deepen trade and economic ties, Ramesh Sen said. The Turkish ambassador said bilateral trade between the two nations now stands at $1.1 billion, but there are huge scopes to scale up exports from both countries. The International Crimes Tribunal, ICT, has been reconstituted with Justice Ghulam Murtaza Majumdar as its chairman. Law Affairs Advisor Dr. Asif Nozrul came up with the information at a press briefing at the Secretariat today. He said the other two members of the three-members tribunal are Justice Shafiul Alam Mahmood and retired District Judge Mohitul Haq Enam Chaudhary. Dr. Asif Nozrul hoped that the trial would begin soon. The interim government decided to try the charges of genocide in the International Crimes Tribunal centering the anti-discrimination student movement. Finance and Commerce Advisor Dr. Salihuddin Ahmed said those involved in market syndicates will be punished soon. He said this after monitoring the market at Karan Bazar in the capital today. Director General of the Directorate of National Consumer Rights Protection, Muhammad Alim Akhtar Khan, and Commerce Secretary Muhammad Salimuddin were present on the occasion. Regarding the suspension of the sale of chicken eggs in Karan Bazar during market monitoring, the Commerce Advisor said that the traders are syndicating due to low production and supply of eggs. The country's export earnings is increasing gradually. Compared to September of last year, the export earnings in September this year increased by more than $220 million. In September of the current fiscal year, the export earnings increased by 6.78% despite less industrial production due to workers' unrest. According to real-time shipment of the National Board of Revenue Export Promotion Bureau, said the export earnings in the first quarters of the current fiscal year from July to September has increased 5.4%, settled at $11.37 billion, which is more than $10.82 billion from the same period of the last fiscal year. Of the total amount, $9.29 billion earnings came from the ready-made garments sector. According to analysts, exporting ready-made garments needs to be more diverse in order to maintain the current trend and increase export earnings. Economists said all barriers must be removed to export medicines, jute and jute products, leather and leather goods in order to boost the nation's export earnings. Public Administration Reform Commission has recommended increasing the age limit for entering government service in Bangladesh to 35 years for men and 37 years for women. Chairman of the Commission, former Secretary Abdul Muyyid Chowdhury, explained the rationale behind this recommendation during a press briefing at the Secretariat today. He said Advisory Council will take final decision on age limit for entering government service. He said in order to facilitate women, they will get 2 years more than men. Abdul Muyyid Chowdhury said no recommendations are made regarding the age limit of retirement. Foreign Advisor Tawhid Hussain said sending Rohingyas back to Myanmar is the only solution to the crisis. Bangladesh expects China's more cordial and active roles in this regard. He said this at a seminar at a hotel in the capital today on Bangladesh-China relationship and future journey. The foreign advisor said the government wants to increase military communications with China. Chinese Ambassador Yao Wen said Dhaka-Beijing relationship will continue as before. He's hopeful that the interim government will soon be able to overcome all challenges, including the law and order situation. The Chinese ambassador went on saying that his country had always been beside Bangladesh in every crisis. Officials of Chinese companies didn't leave Bangladesh during the COVID or July movement, he added. In the program, noted economist Dr. Debapriya Bhattacharya said in order to make the Kornofuli tunnel in Chattogram economically viable, Chinese investment is necessary in Anwara. He stressed the need for transparency in relationship between China and Bangladesh. 3 people were killed and 20 others injured in a gas cylinder exploded at a CNG filling station in Muktiganj area of Lakshmipur municipality this morning. Doctors said the condition of 10 of the injured persons is critical. The accident occurred around 2 a.m. 3 of the deceased were CNG drivers and the injured were bus and CNG drivers, said the filling station manager. The injured were admitted to Shodar Hospital. The injured were taken to Dhaka Medical College Hospital, DMCH, as their condition deteriorated. Others are being treated at Shodar Hospital. Now, international news.